Why do agencies fail? The only reason an agency fails is the inability of the agency's founder to do business development. The balance between how many people and how many clients is never going to be completely synced. You'll have more people, less business. You'll have more business, less people. I would say that you should at least have a 3-month kind of salary cover blocked in savings, which is over and above your regular cash.
For the agency business, where most people who are getting into the agency business are creative people, how important is it for them to understand business and maths? Welcome to yet another episode of
This living room.
Should we change the name?
No, I like the name.
Okay.
It's a good name.
Welcome to this living room.
Why do you think you should change the name?
Then we can shoot outside also instead of a living room.
No, it's okay.
Okay, we'll shoot in this living room. We hope that you've been watching our podcast, because if you haven't, this is a colossal waste of time. But also we have fun doing it, so it's fine. We have a very interesting episode lined up today. Slightly controversial, may ruffle a few feathers, but we don't care. What's the topic?
Not at all. Why do agencies fail?
Fail or die? Is it the same thing?
Failure leads to eventual
death.
death, slow death. It can be slow death, it can be very...
How many agencies do you know that have failed or are failing and has potentially died?
3, 4 at least. Like people I know.
Yeah, about the same. I think from the pandemic onwards, I think.
Yeah. Struggling a few more,
Yeah.
where you kind of get stuck in loops, etc. But
But there are two, broadly, there are two categories, right? The first are your mammoth agencies. And if you look at stock prices there, what's happening, and it's everywhere, the literature is everywhere, right? All those big network agencies, I don't know if fail is the right word, but they're on a steady decline for quite a few years.
Yeah. No, and I see the network agency world.
Oh, by the way, cheers.
Oh, cheers. We haven't done this. I see that the grapefruit is still in action. Wow. Very healthy.
Beer, no?
With grapefruit, obviously.
Yeah.
Without it, not healthy. With grapefruit, very
Fiber.
healthy. Extremely important and tasty. So coming back to network agencies, I think, and again, so just from an outsider's perspective, not that I know too much of what is going on internally in a network agency, but what I see happen is, I think the world around them changed
Yeah.
and they weren't fast enough to adapt.
Yeah.
And it happened in phases, right? I think so. The first big change for network agencies was when digital came in. A lot of them were very slow.
The first big change was media buying went away.
True, but then if you look at it at a consolidated level,
Earlier, how were agencies making money?
media commission.
Through media commission.
Correct.
That went off.
Correct.
That was the biggest change, and that happened somewhere in the late 90s, I think.
Correct.
Right?
So then specializations happened. There were
Correct.
media agencies and there were creative agencies.
Correct.
Yeah, but at a...
And then network agencies said that, you know what, in our network, we'll have both media
Yeah.
buying and
Yeah.
creative.
Yeah.
So the networks were making money.
Correct.
So
That was still okay. The big shift was digital, right? Because I found a lot of resistance to digital, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this is not going to work and
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is useless and all that.
yeah.
So that ship sailed. But I think now what has happened is they've caught up, at least. As in all large network agencies have a fairly substantial, large digital practice because you can't live without it. At least that has happened. The next round of change, I think, which is happening is because of this
Content.
entire piece of... One is content, absolutely. The other is implications of AI. Right?
Correct.
So there are so many things which are dynamic right now, plus also these strategic mistakes of
You think age
consolidation.
has, and so let's spend a little bit of time talking about network, and then we'll move to the smaller ones.
Yeah.
In the network, at least I'm sure things have changed now, but I don't know. There's no way to verify this. The average age of a person in network agencies was roughly around 40 or so.
Is it?
Average age.
Okay.
Yeah. Of course, there were people in the 20s as well, but there were more people in the senior sort of rung, right? Do you think age has anything to do with being not obstinate is the wrong word, but resistance to change?
I don't think it's a function of age, and I'll tell you why the age was required also, right? To command some sort of an age being a indicator of experience.
Yeah.
To command some sort of presence in a room in front of a large organization, a large brand team, you had to have people who had a certain amount of experience, right? And hence the tenure was much longer. Plus also imagine the number of campaigns that you worked on earlier per brand, right? One large campaign, two large campaigns, 4 a year, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't as though you were producing like 100 pieces of content a week.
Yeah.
So the time somebody took to even mature as a professional was that much longer because the quantum of work was lesser, right? It was more in depth, but lesser work. But you had to have that gravitas to stand in front of client.
No, I'm talking about, like, for example, let's say that when digital really came into play, right? And I'm not even talking about like fucking Facebook and shit. I'm talking about much later, right?
Yeah.
The performance part of it, the Instagram part of it, the creation part of it. My guess is and I'm talking from experience. Like, I took so long just to fucking pick up Canva. I should have done it a long time back.
True.
Yeah. Even AI, at first I was hesitant because it takes time for someone in my age. It takes time. Right? You want to be comfortable with doing what you're doing.
Yeah. Plus also a lot of resistance comes from client as well, right? With new things. Because see, network agency typically works with large organization. Large organization doesn't have founder sitting. Along with business outcome, there are a lot of other...
Plus there are global alignments also.
Global alignments, plus also there are a lot of ass saving which has to happen, right? Because this is not my business. I'll take a decision and all the risk is on me. If it works, it works. Doesn't work, it doesn't work, right? But here, somebody will question your choices. And if you are making choices which are very extreme, the risk is always on you, right? So if platforms don't offer measurability on the media buying side, it's a problem, right? The numbers on digital back in the day were very, very small, right? So people would say impact kya hoega?
Correct.
So those kind of conversations. So resistance, a lot of it came from client. But I think the miss from the agency side was they should have completely taken this and said that, hey, this is the new frontier, right? And not let the smaller guys come in and suddenly start showing results. Right? They had to catch up, right? So that bus got missed there is my take.
And yeah, but I honestly don't, again, this is conjecture. I don't think there's any coming back from that slope that the network agencies are in currently.
Yeah.
I think it will be a gradual slope. It's not, I don't think it's going to go up. At least I don't foresee any reason why they would climb up again. Especially with newer agencies coming into the arena right now to play, the competition is way more tougher than what it was like 15, 20 years back.
Yeah. Also, I see, like I've been following what WPP has been doing on the AI side. There's a lot of investment they're making behind technology.
Yeah.
So at least there is some semblance that this is real. Okay. Now, how far that goes, whether it is going to be the technology first.
They've hired someone as to
There's a global leadership which has got formed, and a bunch of investment is going behind building AI tech for creative, right? So all that is happening, but we'll see. And usually when these shifts happen, it's a technology native kind of company which does the disruption and not the incumbent. Usually that is the case. But here, because there is so much buzz in AI, who does it, we don't know. Right? And there'll be play which everybody will kind of have. See, the other thing is also...
Wait, 1 minute. I forgot to switch on my timer.
Okay.
I have to put a timer on because when we start talking, we don't stop.
Yeah.
Hey Siri, switch on a timer for 20 minutes.
We're not done with 10. Oh, but we overshot the time anyway. So the other thing I was saying was, see, a large part of the business of network agencies was also the strategy side, right? Now
It
still is, but that is still dated, right? Like that old way of building brand tree, all of that. That practice, right? That deep consumer immersion, etc., etc. That is getting muddled with oh, does McKinsey offer this service, or should I go to Ogilvy for this, or who do I go to? Do I need an integrated growth plus brand kind of solution?
No, but also it's if you measure on the output at the end of the day, what is the output of all of that work? It's a positioning.
Yeah.
In most cases,
while client is now saying, give me a integrated business outcome.
Correct.
While positioning is one way to reach business outcome, right? So I read something very interesting recently. A way to build a strategy practice, right, is to get 4-5 data scientists, small team, and then like you create one and then you can replicate this. 4-5 data scientists, 4-5 people from anthropology, sociology, culture kind of background, so that they do the inciting, that kind of work. Brand strategists, growth marketeers, right? Put this infrastructure of about 20 people and go to a brand saying that, hey, listen, we're going to take you from like, let's say $30 million to $100 million, and on that 70 million upside, right? Give us 10%.
Okay.
Right? And all of this comes together, right? So the positioning also happens, the cultural inciting also happens, the growth strategy also happens, deep data analytics also happens, performance also happens.
Who's doing this?
Some execution around this has started, again, very bad with names. But there are, I see a few of these teams coming together, which now enabled with execution technology, right, is a very interesting space to think about. So have these...
Yeah, but again, this is where the future is headed. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, the old must give way to the new. But like coming to the smaller agencies, right? Not the network ones, but the independent. Let's call them independent.
The kind of ones we run.
Yeah, maybe slightly bigger also.
Yeah.
The independent agencies. I've seen quite a few of them die out. And sure, the pandemic was a disastrous thing that happened to business overall.
But do you think agencies died in the pandemic? I thought agencies started doing much more work in the pandemic.
No, man. I mean, when business goes down, you can't pay salaries, no?
No, but why did business, so I'm talking creative marketing agencies, right? As in we're talking.
Overnight, businesses went down. I lost some 3 clients during the pandemic.
But what were they doing? What kind of clients?
I was just doing mostly creative strategy and writing work. That's
For which, what industries? So
tech.
So tech adoption went up, D2C adoption went up.
So I think everyone was paranoid when the pandemic, I'm talking about the first wave. In the second wave, things were better. But in the first wave, everyone got super paranoid about business.
So by the way, largely, quick commerce adoption, e-commerce adoption, D2C adoption all went up, right? During the pandemic. Because of mall shutdown,
Correct.
Everybody was shopping online, which meant that the entire enablement ecosystem actually got a boost during that period. So if you were, let's say, you were taking care of social media for a restaurant, right? Or a gym or any physical infrastructure, all that business went to zero for sure. Which a lot of agencies do, right? Tourism, all these industries, all of them.
Like production houses also, they had no business.
Production houses, obviously, because you couldn't produce, right? At that point in time. Yeah, true. So coming back to why do you think, so pandemic aside, right? That's
pandemic aside.
Once in a century kind of situation. Pandemic aside, why else do you think small agencies fail?
So I think, there's no single reason. I think there are multiple reasons.
Are you saying fail or are you saying die?
Die out.
Fail.
Yeah. There are a plethora of reasons, right? I think one of, and I don't know if I should stack them or anything, but I think one reason definitely is the fact that you're offering as an agency, is it a bouquet of endless services? Do you stand for anything? So I'll tell you what. So when I started the voice company, I approached it like I would do strategy for any brand. Right. So I mean, how I would do.
So you created your own brand like it was a client.
Correct.
Agreed. Fair.
Right. Now I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because I wanted to stand for, like, I wanted people to come to me when they would need a strong brand story in the market.
Sure.
So which is voice or brand, whatever. So that came into play, right? As a matter of fact, I think about 80% of the work that I did and still do is in that arena. Now, whether that was because of the positioning I created, I have no fucking idea right now, right? But I feel that a lot of agencies offer everything. And the website will say our services, right? They'll have photo shoots, they'll have content creation, they'll have social media, they'll have brand story, they'll have manifesto writing, they'll have positioning, everything. As a client, and this is a hypothesis, I have no idea. As a client, would I go to a specialized agency? Would I go to a generalist agency? I don't know.
Okay, so I have a very different take on this, okay? The only reason an agency fails is the inability or the lack of discipline of the agency's founder to do business development. Continuous business development.
Yeah.
Okay?
But that goes without saying, right?
No, a lot of people underestimate this. The kind of time, effort, and rigor it takes to do that business development. Okay? Even so, if you are a specialized offering, very good. If you are a bouquet of offerings, still okay. There is enough and more business in this country, right? We were just reading some stats which said that there are some 60,000 D2C brands in the country. To be successful, how many do you need? 100, right? If you got 100 brands, you are a large agency, right? Even if the billables are 50,000 a month, you're still a large agency, right? The single biggest problem is that there is not enough sustained business development effort.
But to your point, how difficult is it to get that done? All that you need is a business development person.
You and I both do it. It's a painful process.
It is.
Right? And there are times when you start slipping. It's also dealing with rejection when you get said no so many times. Right? Figuring out a way to constantly innovate on this. That rigor and discipline is a big problem. And if agency founders just put their heads behind doing business development, that's all that is needed. Everything else falls in place. See, if you have business, you will find systems to deliver on that business, right? Some systems will be efficient, some systems will be clunky, some systems will be absolutely shit. But you will eventually find systems that work for you, right? And I'm talking internal.
On the flip side, I personally know of 3 agencies, smallish outfits, who have gotten clients because of business development, but couldn't deliver.
So I was coming to the delivery. Okay. Now, the catch here is that, let's say that, and for the lack of a better word, right? Let's say your current execution capability, as in be it media, be it whatever, is that you can cater to a brand which has a revenue of 100 crores today, right? Initially, when you're scaling up, target brands which are smaller than that. The mistake happens when you start taking on projects which are for brands which are 300 crores, 500 crores, 1,000 crores. You don't have enough infrastructure to deliver that. Start smaller, no? Get the business in first. Build this out, build an engine, because with business coming in, you are able to hire people, you can get talent, you can get better quality talent, right? And then go after the bigger business.
Does finance have a role to play in businesses dying out? Of course it does. With business development comes the conversation.
Yeah, lack of business development leads to what,
no,
right?
But that's not what I meant. I meant, for example, let's take your company, right? Let's say that your revenue is 100 rupees. How much do you pay on salaries versus how much goes into the company account for a rainy day? Is there a number that is a good number for other agency founders to look at and think, you know what, maybe I should hit that number. Maybe I'm doing it wrong.
So as a thumb rule, the way I think about this is that how many months of salary cover you have.
Yeah.
With zero revenue coming in. Right?
Correct.
And I would say that you should at least have a 3-month kind of salary cover blocked in savings, which is over and above your regular cash flow. That's a good number.
That's all?
That's enough. See, if your business goes to zero.
No, but there's a contextual fabric there, right? For you, it's 3 months because your team size is far bigger than my team size, for example.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Currently I have 8 people. I have a salary cover of maybe 6 months or so.
Yeah.
Right? Which is fine, I think, for someone like me. Right? But for someone who has, let's say, I don't know, 100 employees,
Yeah.
right? Would like fucking 3 months
It's a lot of money. Yeah.
is a lot of money.
So one, there is this cover, right, which is this comfort cover. So I'm saying 1 to 3 months is good, right? The second is how do you price your business, right? As in and essentially it's very simple. Your gross margin is revenue minus salary cost, largely, right? And if you have an office, overheads, etc., that's aside. But that at a larger scale with like 40, 50, 60 member people, that as a percentage of revenue becomes lesser. But you at least have to have a 50% gross margin in the agency business.
50%.
Margin in the agency business. So suppose salary cost is 100, your billable should be 200. Minimum.
Salary cost including your salary.
No, team salary. I'm not talking founding member salary at the moment. Right? And ideally include that as well. Like
That's an insane number.
No, so
that's an insane number.
No. Otherwise the business is not sustainable. Okay.
50% profit.
Yes. 50%. So
after taking away salaries, you're saying?
Not founder salaries. I'm saying team salaries. Right?
No, but you just said in an
ideal world, but I'm saying at least, right? You should get a 50% gross margin on business, right? Ideal scenario is 35% salary cost, right? On top of that, overheads, on top of that, founder leadership salaries. So essentially, then the gross margin is 65%. So if cost of delivering a project, the team which is deployed, not the leadership or the founding team, that should be 35 rupees and you should generate $100 out of it. That is the ideal place to be in. But if suppose the people who are delivering the business altogether cost you 50,000 rupees and the account pays you like 60,000 rupees, right?
But there's another angle to this. Okay. The angle is that when an agency is just starting out, right? And let's take the scenario of maybe one founder setup or two founder setup.
Yeah.
They've just started this agency.
Yeah.
Right? And they're bringing in a couple of projects. Let's say they're bringing in a packaging project. Right? They've struck a deal with a client and the client's paying them 5 lakhs for this packaging project.
Got it.
Right? They want to have the best work possible going out because this work is going to decide other potential projects to come in.
Yes.
Correct? If I pay a designer 1 lakh, I'm only going to get a certain kind of designer. My output is going to be only a certain kind of way versus bringing in a very, very great designer for 4 lakhs, let's say, for this project, where my profit margin is 1 lakh, but the work that I'm putting, and I've done this, right? And because of that, I've gotten other projects as well. But when you're starting off, this rule doesn't apply.
I understand, right? So there are two ways to look at this. Number one, if a particular project is badge value for you, then the profit economics don't matter on it. Okay, so let's just put it on the table. Then it doesn't matter. Even if you had to pay 5 lakhs for the delivery of that project, you consider it as a marketing expense, right? That's badge value for me. This is going to become my showcase. Okay. The challenge with that is that if you think the next time a similar project comes, you can charge 8, 9, 10 lakhs for it. Then it's okay. Because the person whom you've paid 4 out of the 5 for the next project is also going to ask you for 4.
Correct.
Right? If you still get 5, then it's a bad thing, right? Either you're able to kind of then start charging 7, 8 because now you have credentials. You keep paying this person 4 and you make 50% margin on it, or you build internal capability where what this person does for 4, your internal team does for 2.
Correct, absolutely, yeah.
One of the two, right? So you have to think it through, and everybody does it, right? As in, so we've taken on initially when we started, we would whatever retainer people would throw at us, we've taken that. Right? And we had this very conflicting kind of thing, right? There would be phases where we would take on anything. There would be phases we would say no to business, right? But over time, you kind of understand your gross margin profile, right? You understand your team salaries. And then just some basic math around, suppose a resource costs you $50,000 and if the resource is deployed on 5 projects, then you are allocating 10,000 to that project delivery cost, right? So you start doing that math around your deployment as well.
Let's talk about maths. How important, let's say, and this is specifically for the agency business where most people who are getting into the agency business right now, or even like 3-4 years back or whatever, are creative people. How important is it for them to understand business and maths to start an agency?
So here, there are two ways to think about this, right? So the first clarity that a creative person should have is, are you opening a factory or are you opening a boutique shop?
Fair.
Okay. That's the first clarity. Because the economics of both are very different. Okay. If you are opening a boutique shop, then you are essentially going to monetize your time and you will have...
Either way, you want to make a buck.
No, but economics are very different. I'll explain why the economics are different, right? Then you'll monetize your time and you will then need resources which are essentially going to be able to help you deliver the business that you are getting as an individual. Okay. Very different economics. Then it's a project to project kind of economics. Okay. If you are building like a factory, right? Like we are building a factory, for example. In our case, our team economics matter, right? It's not me or Vishay or Sumit doing business delivery. It's my team doing business delivery, right? So then my P&L lines look very different, right? And we do this math, right? So each of the respective team leaders and people who report to them, there is a P&L constructed for them, right? So for example, Nitesh and his team, what revenue are they bringing into the system, and what is their salary cost, right? And the same for Raji's team and Desmond's team, all of this, right? And those P&Ls matter, right? And they have to be communicated to the team as well, and which we do, saying that.
But they are not bringing in business. You're bringing in business.
Yeah, but they have to be aware, right? And so then choices of resource deployment, right? And we've told these guys saying that, hey, if you are accountable for profitability, and if we say that you will be part of the profitability conversation, you can come back and say that, hey, you've got me a low value client. I can't take this on board right now because this is messing around with my P&L. Right? So then the economics work very differently. So you have to plan for those differently. But yeah, number one, have that clarity. And number two, just get these basic economics in place, right? Resource, cost of resource per month. How much are you splitting on how many accounts is that resource getting split on, right? For a particular project, right? Let's say if a particular project, and in your case, hypothetically, let's say you're doing social media for that, right? There's going to be a copywriter, there's going to be somebody in art, there is going to be their supervisor, okay? And forget your role in all of this. Let's say these three people. If that art person is deployed across 5 accounts, 1/5 of his salary should be accounted for one account.
Yeah.
Same thing for copy.
Yeah.
Same thing for supervisor. Supervisor is managing 10 accounts, 1/10, right? Now that 1/5 plus 1/10 of salary cost, that should be mapped against your billings, right? Is it even 2x of that cost? If not, then it's a problem, right? So that math is super important. And if you don't start doing the math very early on, and you can still take suboptimal business, right, for the sake of growth, but you should know the math. You can decide that, okay, on this I'm only going to make 25%, but it's better than making 0, and I don't have any other business right now, I'll take it, right? But you should be aware of the math. So the math is critical that way. Boutique infrastructure.
Is that one of the reasons why you think agencies are dying? The fact that they don't get the maths?
Again, no. Because see, at the end of the day, if you simplify all of the math, right, it's essentially your total salary bill and your total revenue. That math anybody should be able to get, right? And if you are able to not get this math, then you should not be doing a business.
So I'll give you a situation, right? Because what you said right now, I fall into that category currently. Okay. Let's say my current revenue is 100 rupees. Currently, I'm spending, and I've chosen to do this, I'm spending over 120 rupees.
You're spending more than what you're making
I'm spending more than what I'm making right now. I've chosen to do this because I feel that I'm actually prepping for something else right now. I'm prepping for the next business year, the next 2 business years. For example, I've hired someone for marketing with Bo, and I expect that revenue, whatever I'm spending, to pay off in 3 years, right? The people that I've hired currently, I just had a whole spurt of hiring. I know that these people, with these people, I can bring in more business, if not today, then tomorrow, right? As opposed to keeping a very, very lean team and not being able to even go after clients, right? Now, from a short business perspective, this is a terrible thing to do. But from a long business perspective, it could work. could fucking blow up in my face also. You don't know.
Yeah, so I'll tell you the way we always think about it, right? Our first attempt, okay, and there is this constant, the balance between how many people and how many clients is never going to be completely synced, okay? You'll have more people, less business. You'll have more business, less people, right? As in, and we've done this projection every year. We do it every quarter. But we are never able to get this in sync because business cycles don't work like that, right?
Yeah.
Somebody has said that we'll start work with you on 1st November, but that conversation is getting delayed and it's going to start mid-December, right? Now what do I do?
Yeah.
Our going in principle is that if there is a 15-20% stretch in the current team, I want that stretch to be there. Once I know that it's reaching that 20%, I'll open up my hiring pipeline anyway. But I'll still let the stretch happen, right? Which means that even if we have to get involved in that delivery, we will do it, right? And once that kind of, and you intuitively know, right? As in that when you start realizing,
people overworked.
Yeah, and if deadlines are getting missed and, if all those things start happening, you kind of get that sense very quickly. And because we've been at it for a while now, the hiring pipeline doesn't stop, but then I press the pedal saying that, okay, 2 more resources now here, right? But the principle always is that can the current people deliver on 2 extra projects? And when you go in with this mindset, you find that it's easier. It mostly happens, right? Because see, in our business, suppose you're working with a client for 6-8 months, right? There is a rhythm to that work,
Correct,
right? And you are able to deliver easier. As in the first few months are a struggle. Right? So teams kind of settle into that rhythm. So what earlier would take a week now takes only 3 days. But when you did resource planning, you accounted for a week for that work. So now those 3 days are available. So there's always that, there is some level of elasticity left, but there are times when you stretch and it's at breaking point as well. So this balance is important. But again, failure point of agency is just business development, nothing else. All of this is workable. The math is workable, the hiring is workable, work processes are workable, all of this is workable. But if you don't have no ego, relentless business development capability, you should not open an agency.
On that profound thought, but this, you could have just answered this in the first go and you could have ended the podcast in 2 minutes.
I did.
Instead of talking for fucking 40 minutes.
Yeah. So one line answer. The only reasons agencies fail is when people can't do business development.
Yeah, so do business development.
Yeah.
Be like Adi.
Relentless.
Yeah. And without ego.
And get people like Zoya to help you with business development.
If she's up for being hired.
No, Zoya's not going anywhere.
Okay, but like, share, subscribe.
Subscribe. Say that again.
Subscribe.
Good.
Okay, bye.
Bye.